My twin brother told everyone I was having a breakdown so he could steal my job offer. He almost pulled it off. We graduated the same week from the same program. Same GPA, same degree, same everything. I got the offer first, the firm we'd both been targeting since junior year. When I told him, he hugged me and said he was proud. His eyes were wet. I actually felt guilty for a second, like winning something we'd both worked for was somehow wrong. 3 days later, my new manager called me at 8 a.m. Someone close to me had contacted HR, a family member. They were worried, said I'd been erratic lately, unstable, that at a recent family dinner I'd screamed at my parents and thrown a plate across the room. None of that happened, but my brother had been at that dinner. HR said they weren't rescinding anything, just pausing. A wellness review. Standard procedure when a concern is raised by someone close to an incoming employee. My start date moved from Monday to pending. I hung up and sat on my kitchen floor for 20 minutes. When I called my brother, he answered on the first ring. Said he hadn't heard anything about it. Sounded confused, even a little angry on my behalf. He said HR was probably just covering themselves legally and it would blow over by Friday. It didn't blow over. The following week, I got a formal letter. The review was ongoing. They needed me to provide references who could speak to my emotional stability. I had never been asked anything like that in my life. I had never thrown a plate. I had never screamed at my parents. My hands were shaking reading that letter. I started writing everything down. Every date, every interaction. I went back through my phone looking for anything that felt off, then I found it. His girlfriend had texted me by accident 2 weeks before the offer even came through. A message clearly meant for him. It said, "Did you find out which firm she's going to yet?" I hadn't thought anything of it at the time. Wrong number, whatever. But I'd screenshotted it out of habit and forgotten about it. I pulled that screenshot and stared at it for a long time. I started digging. I made a fake email account and submitted a tip to HR saying I had information relevant to a recent wellness complaint made against a new hire. They responded within 4 hours. I didn't reveal myself. I just asked what process they used to verify anonymous complaints. They told me they logged the sender's email address. I hired a freelance IT guy off a forum for $60. I gave him the timeline, the fake concern email HR had received, and my brother's known email patterns. It took him a weekend. The fake wellness complaint had been sent from a Proton Mail account created 3 days after I got my offer. The writing was analyzed against writing samples I provided. 17 matching phrases. 4 identical spelling patterns. 1 word my brother had spelled wrong his entire life, accommodate, missing a second M, used twice in the complaint. I put together a 12-page document. Screenshots, email headers, linguistic comparison, the accidental text from his girlfriend, a timeline of every conversation we'd had since I got the offer. I submitted it to HR with a cover letter that was the most professional thing I've ever written in my life. I didn't tell anyone, not my parents, not my friends. I just waited. The investigation took 11 days. On day 12, my manager called and confirmed my original start date. She didn't explain much, just said the concern had been reviewed and deemed unsubstantiated. 2 days after that, I found out through a mutual classmate that my brother's application to the same firm had been flagged and closed. He called me that night, crying. He said he panicked, that he'd watched me land everything first our whole lives and something in him just snapped, that he never meant for it to go that far, that he thought HR would just delay me long enough for him to get a foot in somewhere and it would all even out. He said he was sorry 17 times. I counted. I let him finish. Then I told him I had documented everything and that HR had the full file. I told him I didn't send it to destroy him. I sent it because I had no other choice. And then I hung up. He texts every week. Sometimes it's an apology. Sometimes it's a memory from when we were kids. Last week he sent a photo of us at our high school graduation. Both of us grinning, matching ties our mom picked out. I haven't responded once. My parents keep calling it a misunderstanding. They keep saying he's my twin, like shared DNA is a reason to let someone burn your life down and hand them a marshmallow. I start work on Monday. My office has a window. I worked for that window. I'm not sharing it.
Full story on channel link below.